But rival Southwest Airlines managed to beat expectations in the first quarter thanks to higher fares, which helped lift passenger revenue. But profits fell about 40% year over year. And the company said that the sequester, or automatic spending cuts, could hurt revenue in April. But those concerns may be unwarranted. With flight delays mounting, the U.S. Senate has just passed legislation to end the air traffic controller furloughs, blamed for causing so many widespread delays. Under the measure, the Federal Aviation Administration would be able to transfer funds from accounts that are flush into other programs to cover the costs of air traffic controllers and other essential employees at the Federal Aviation Administration, and this would keep things operational till about September 30th. A House vote is expected as early as Friday, that's tomorrow, on this legislation. And joining us now from Denver with his insight on the airline industry is Michael Boyd, chairman of aviation consulting firm Boyd International. Michael, thanks so much for joining us. Let's just get straight into it. So we see that the cost gap between traditional and budget airlines has been falling an average 30% over the last 6 years. And according to the Airline Disclosures Handbook, that's the data. Now, why has the gap gotten smaller, and what do discount airlines need to do to stay more competitive?
Well, let's understand the European picture is different than the Asian picture, and certainly the North American picture is different. Southwest Airlines now, for example, is a very high-cost carrier. JetBlue's costs have gone up significantly. The reason is, they're aging. They have labor unions. Nothing wrong with that, but they do have their costs going up. The major airlines like Delta and American and United have all gone through bankruptcy proceedings, and they've gotten their costs down, so it's a lot more even. But more importantly, sometimes the product that you're getting for your money on these, quote, legacy carriers is a better value than on the budget carriers.
But is it a better value? Because a lot of these so-called legacy airlines are now adopting the models of discount airlines. American Airlines, for example, charging for baggage fees, others charging to reserve seats in a particular area. Not everybody's serving meals anymore. Nobody's getting those free peanuts, even on the legacy airlines sometimes. So what advantages do they really offer then?
Well, one of the things is, for example, Southwest Airlines doesn't give you advanced seat selection. That has caused them, bluntly, to be driven out of a number of very high traffic markets in America because the business traveler wants that seat selection. They want a more aggressive frequent flyer program so you can get a free ticket to London instead of Lubbock. So it's one of those issues, too, where Southwest is now a hubbing carrier. They hub at Chicago, they hub at Denver, they hub at Houston. They have to stay alive. So the variance in the operational model is not as great as it used to be.
But that also would affect the legacy airlines, right?
Absolutely, except the legacy airlines have revenue streams that these, quote, discounters don't have. For example, about 25–26% of all traffic in the United States today is generated directly or indirectly by the international systems that American and Delta and United have. Southwest Airlines does not have access to that and probably won't anytime soon. So they've got a different niche, but the advantage they used to have is long gone.
So those systems, those one world alliances and such, helping the legacy airlines. Let's focus on Southwest. Its earnings this quarter showed that they did well with the fuel hedging, and that lower fuel costs, which is their biggest expense usually, offset a decline in sales. So with fuel costs a little lower, and certainly lower than they've been over the past 5 years, shouldn't airlines be making more money?
Well, in the case of Southwest, to their credit, they're one of the highest paying airlines in America. They've got a highly motivated workforce, but you have to fly a different way when your costs go up that way, and they can't get them down. They just did a merger with AirTran where they had to unload about 88 airplanes at very favorable rates to Delta Airlines. They're having challenges in Atlanta where they thought they'd have a big operation, and they don't. They're going to have to work out some changes before they really start to make the kind of profits they used to make. They'll do it, but they've got a row to hoe.
Now, Samoa Airlines said in the beginning of April that they would start charging passengers based on their weight, that pricing for international flights will work according to the weight of the passengers and the weight of their bags. Depending on the flight, each kilogram, which is about 2 pounds, will cost 93 cents to $1.06. Is this a good trend? Is this something we can expect to see other airlines adopting? And is this actually good for the flyer?
Well, no, it's not a trend. It's a one-off of an airline that flies airplanes that carry 5 and 6 people, where a little bit of weight can make a difference. It's not the same thing as Lufthansa designed to weigh you when you get on and giving you a bill. But so I don't think we're going to see that happening. But remember, airlines can dream up new fees we mere mortals can't even think about.
And are we mere mortals going to carry on buying those tickets regardless of those fees, or is there ever going to be, do you think, a pushback from the consumer?
Well, the pushback's already started. For example, Southwest Airlines will be slightly smaller this year than last year. Most major airlines in North America, we're going to see about a 2% drop in traffic. And one of the reasons is that airlines are saying, we don't particularly care about the price-sensitive passenger. We don't want volume. We want revenue streams. So I think the passengers pushing back to some degree, and the airlines are saying, we don't particularly care about people who just want to fly on a budget.
Yeah, not too much caring going up in the skies. Thanks so much for that insight, Michael Boyd, chairman of Boyd International.